Love is great until it isn't. Why don't we talk about when love goes sour? Why is that never often discussed? Can you be genuine friends with an ex? Is cheating forgivable? Why don't relationships last anymore? Let's find out.
The relationship you had with an ex, I feel like if you was like in love with an ex, I think that's when it gets pretty difficult to like be genuine friends with them. And not to say like that you can't have a genuine friendship with them. I feel like it's just hard to do that and then move on to other situations with other people. That's what I believe personally.
If you, I feel like when it comes to that, somebody is gonna always have feelings. So if you're the person that, if you didn't really give a fuck, I feel like you could genuinely like be their friend. But if there are feelings attached, let's just say no. Because if you exchange sexual energy, you could exchange sexual energy again. Like if we talking about, like that. We talking about some like kid and play, like y'all went together in elementary school, yeah. But I feel like once you just exchange that, no. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes, I think you could be genuine friends with an ex. Should I elaborate?
Yes.
Sometimes I think at different stages of your life, you'll realize that person that you were dating was like for a growth experience. So me personally, like I have an ex from like 15 or 16, like we grew up together. So like learning some of the same values, like getting our driver's license together, just little stuff like that. But once you grow up with a person, anything y'all like once feuded over, it kind of fades away and you realize like this is like my family now. So I think you can be genuine friends with an ex.
No. I used to think you could, but it's no. No. You can, I don't, it depends on how y'all broke up also. I feel like some of my exes, there is some genuine friendship there from like before we were together, but some other of my exes, nah, I couldn't be genuine friends with them. I guess the reason I couldn't be is because, things when we were together were so, like for instance, I have one ex where we had a lot of sex. We had like a lot of sex, and the breakup, when you back around that person, you just like I couldn't do it, especially I couldn't be friends. I hope I'm answering this right, but I could not be friends.
Yeah, most definitely cheating is forgivable. Cause the way I look at it, I don't look at any like, what's the word, transgression, I believe. Like just like any, thing you do wrong to somebody, I don't look at anything as worse than any other. Like I feel like you can definitely come back from that. I feel like cheating has a lot to do with people's states of mind that they are at the current time, and like I just feel like it's definitely more than possible to change, especially like in our younger ages and whatnot. I know like relationships that came back from cheating and they married and happy now. Just depends on the person.
Oh, Jesus. No. Cheating is, infidelity period is just a no. I don't think it's forgivable because you clearly don't love me, because that's not love. That's not the type of love I want. You don't respect me as a person. You think I'm disposable and you don't care about losing me. So why should I ever forgive that action? Because if the table was turned and the shoe was on the other foot, the other person, mainly males, would just drop you, period. Like, oh, she cheated, she a dog, she this, she that, start to down talk the person, and they don't forgive that. They hurt forever behind that. So no, it's not forgivable. Disrespectful to the highest point of disrespect.
I don't even know if I'm mature enough to answer this question because from my perspective right now, no. It's so intentional. It's like, it's so hard to cheat. You have to really think about it, plan it, try to keep it away from the person. At this point in my life, no. I think once I invest in the person a little more, maybe if we get married, I might be a little more lax because we invested so much already and we legally tied together. But I'm still leaning on the hard no. We gotta pass on that.
Yes, cheating is forgivable. cheating is forgivable because it depends on how I feel like it's done. So no one wants to have the egg on their face, right? So if the egg is on somebody's face, meaning if, you know, this is done all over social media and people can share it, comment about it, have their own opinions about it, of course it's going to make the person that you cheated on, going to make them, you know, more hesitant to forgive you. And I vice versa. If the egg was on my face, I probably wouldn't, because now you got your dudes on your side, like, bro, you gotta leave that whatever alone. Or, you know, if you're a girl, you got your girl saying he ain't shit, da-da-da. So, nah, I mean, in that case, it's not forgivable. But if it's something that you come across and you find out, you know, where it's just you and your spouse, I think that, you know, you can start the road to reconciling the feelings that got hurt from the actions.
I definitely feel like relationships are disposable these days really easily. I hate to say it, but one of the biggest factors is just like technology and social media. Capitalism has found its way into some of like our most intimate, like just kind of like things we do in life, and I feel like it's definitely got into relationships. When you see the like success of like couples channels on YouTube, or like how many likes people get on like Instagram, it's just like it's like another it's like bravado almost. You know, I feel like a lot like the conquest in life for men is women, and the conquest in life for women is like lifestyle. So relationships are disposable because men just want like a good looking girl to put on Instagram with them to say they conquered that, and women want like a guy who, you know, has money and success and a nice lifestyle to say they conquered that on like Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. So I feel like social media is the answer, long story short.
I think maybe social media has a lot to do with relationships being disposable. I feel like people aren't trying to stay in a relationship for the sake of being in one. We are kind of, you know, like growing out of that, and it's just like, if this is wrong and I'm receiving something that's bad from you, or a lack of something, then I'm not getting the proper treatment, and I can go find that elsewhere, or somebody who I don't have to correct will do it the right way. And people aren't trying to waste their time, so they leave the relationship and they get themselves together, or they let whatever come to them and let that feel whatever didn't work out in the last one. So I think that's why they're disposable.
I don't think we have a value for each other. So I've heard like one of my friends constantly claim that, oh, he don't see the value in like a girlfriend, or value in just women, period. And like hearing another side of that, when you do come around like men who actually have a love for women and a deep understanding of like things we go through, our emotions, and just what value we place in their lives, then you start to see like the dynamics change. And it's vice versa for men too. Like, well, for women, so like once you value men, you understand the role that they can play in your life, then you'll like want to develop longer relationships. But now it's kind of like, I think since we've become less dependent on each other financially, that trickled down to other areas of our life. So it's like, well, if I could succeed and do A, B, and C, buy my own house, get my own car, it's like, what are you there for? And then we forget that emotional support is so important. So I think that's why it's a little disposable. It's a little long-winded. Oh, plus we just focus on a lot of things that probably aren't as important that we think, like the opinions of others and like how we'll look in certain situations, but we're just not as vulnerable as we used to be.
I don't think people know what they want, and I think that those that do know what they want are hesitant are hesitant to really latch on and invest in somebody, because they know that a lot of people don't know what they want. So you have this big cycle, or this big circle of some people being in the space where they're ready to receive and know that, you know, that they are ready to be in a relationship and know exactly what they want. And you have some people who are not in that space at the moment, and so you got a lot of unchecked feelings. There's no communication with us. Our generation is, as much as we use social media, we don't communicate with each other a lot. There's not a lot of personal communication or interaction like that anymore, and that kind of, you know, withers down the relationship and a lot, and it just becomes disposable.
I don't know, a bad bitch. JK.
People not putting up with your bullshit these days. Don't nobody got to deal with that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So if the relationship is bad, you throw it in the trash. Period.
Teasers for president. I should have that.